Hey guys, today Mark and I are going to talk about dealing with questions and doubts. It's almost adjacent to that, but we did talk about some of that.
Yeah.
And I told a couple of my favorite anecdotes and seeing the Lord move in our lives. I want to talk about dealing with questions and doubts. This is something that disciples of Jesus can do. And I got a little story, and then I want to use a different scripture than we used on Sunday to talk about the same thing. So some of these talks could be commendum. They could be used in association with the discipleship manual. If someone is trying to.
Okay.
What's that word? Commendum? Appendium?
I know what you're going for. I can't think of the word right now.
If you went to post college, I would just not listen from here on. Just
if
you went to community college, stay with us.
Okay. I went to community college.
Well, there you go.
I
think we're fine.
I got 1 credit.
I mean, if you, I don't want to say how much college I went to. It would be a poor reflection on a lot of good institutions. This guy that I was connected with in college, he was pastor, and not of the church I was attending, but I did stuff with them.
Okay.
And he was an associate pastor, and I made a list yesterday of some people who had impacted my spiritual life. He was in that group, and I wrote down how they'd impacted me. And so I found him. He's a professor at Princeton Theological Seminary. That's a big job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I sent him an email with those things, and anxious for him to respond, I guess, or not anxious.
Where did you meet him?
At Center College, where I went.
Oh, I see.
As an undergrad, and he was kind of, I can't remember how I got back to him, because when I first went to Center, I met him. Well, I went to church. It was the closest church to the campus.
Okay.
And right away they said, almost maybe like the second or third time I've been there, they said, "Hey, would you want to work with our teenagers?" And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And so I was working with them for a while, and then I was getting some feedback that I was talking too much about Jesus, and that they really wanted it to be more of a positive club for kids.
And Jesus is such a downer.
No, that it was, I don't know. I mean, you know how I am. I mean, it was a real thing that happened. It seems like a fake thing that didn't happen. And I said, okay, well, let's not do that then. So then you've probably heard, anyway. So then I went to another church that my friend Steele introduced me to. And after about 2 or 3 weeks, they said, "Would you want to help lead our teenagers?"
Okay.
And I said,
"You
sure."
couldn't have been much more than a teenager."
No, I was 18. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I in my home church, I led the youth group. There were 5 teenagers, and we did almost everything.
Okay.
We did the teaching, and we did.
No kidding.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. And I so I was under the impression that I could do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, most of my life I could do stuff.
Well,
so.
yeah.
But anyway, so that second church, and then I became the youth leader there. I did that off and on. Well, it was, it wasn't every week and all the time, because I would be away in the summers, but for the rest of college. And then when we moved to Cincinnati, what's funny is we started going to the Vineyard, which is church at that point of like 2000. And we went for a couple of weeks, and they said, "Would you want to be the leader of the middle school youth?" And none of that seemed weird to me at the time.
I wonder what it was about what you were doing that they would that quickly say, "Hey."
Yeah, exactly. I know, and yeah, I think it was.
Did I make the full thought? I think I did. That.
Yeah.
For people listening, what I'm thinking is you walk through the door 2 weeks or something like that, and they ask you to lead the youth group. Yeah.
Well, it might have just been. I mean, I have most of my life been very oriented towards teenagers, and maybe they just and also too, if there's someone who looks like they're on the outside, I've been pretty oriented to go and grab them and say, "Hey,
yeah,
what do you like to do? Hi, I'm Rich," and also just outgoing or whatever. But,
yeah.
But I guess I also hope it's something about the Spirit's leading, and that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
But what's funny is when I decided to leave teaching, I wanted to go into working for a church full time. I didn't really understand any of that. And so I was like, well, and someone explained it to me, and I said, don't you think maybe God's been calling you to this for a while?
Yeah.
And I was like,
well,
oh, yeah.
That's 3 examples, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd say that, yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't, none of the, things, hindsight is.
Yeah, it's crystal
You can't tell
clear.
anything from.
Yeah. When you're in the journey.
Anyway, so that was Michael. His name was Michael Brothers, and I don't know why we ended up. The church did a cool thing. They sponsored kids, and the church would sponsor college students, and they would take you out to lunch like once a month on a Sunday.
Okay.
And I stayed with that family. It was the first time I ever went to a country club, and that was fun. And
okay.
And then, but I think Michael, he did some informal counseling for me, and helped me to see that kind of to be comfortable with being a human, as well as being a spiritual person.
Okay.
And so anyway, I don't know how we get to that, but I reached out to him yesterday, and I reached out to most of the people on my list yesterday. Okay. So
cool.
It is cool. It's also, it's a little humbling for me somehow. So a couple people I still haven't sent. I'm still getting up the courage to say, hey, you did this for me, because sometimes.
Yeah. I was just trying to think back the leaders that were important in my life in my early walk. John Poffenberger, Pastor John. I don't even think he used to run he started the church up on the hill, Calvary
Bible Church.
Yep. He started that. That was in a house. That was in the Dr. Leslie's house, where his office was. It's not. I think it's all been torn down now, but it was just in a house, and he stood in a doorway, and there was a room on one side, room on the other, back and forth. It was, and then there's bedrooms upstairs. That's where they had the youth group met, and the adults met in the other room, and
you came over from Hancock to do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why'd you come over here, do you think?
Because she's passed, but Miss Patsy Kearns, she definitely mentored me and my brother.
Yeah.
And she took it upon herself to make sure that we were there every Sunday. After the summer that both my brother and I came to Jesus, at the same time, she made sure that we. I think my brother Jeff had made the connection with her, and she'd come out. We lived out in the middle of the country. Come out and pick us up and take us over to Berkeley. And,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one point of I did it anyway. I did it because I was asked to do something else yesterday, and I couldn't do what they asked me to do. So I had a thought real quick. I said, divide your paper into 16 squares, and see if you can come up with 16 people who've impacted your spiritual life.
Okay.
And then so I listed the names and started writing in the things. But it was actually pretty helpful about seeing, at least from my perception, some of the different core values or things, that I like. Being generous. Like I know the people who taught me to be generous.
Yeah.
Showed me.
You had 16 on your list?
I could have had yet more, but
okay.
A couple I left off. I'm going to add them in. Anyway, they don't care, but
yeah.
Anyway, I don't want them, because I also shared the rest of the people with them. I thought it might be interesting to see.
Okay.
Because they're mostly the people who love me, but like Michael, he might not even remember me.
That would have been a while ago, right?
Yeah, 35 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's also beautiful, right? To know that you did, because this is the thing, like you're actually doing something. It just doesn't always seem like it. And so to look back and to, like I told that story yesterday, we had a clergy thing. That's where I did this, a clergy group meeting at the hospital. And I got to do the devotion. And I told this story. You may have heard it recently. I don't know. But I was talking to my friend Danny Nicholas. She called. And he said, I may have, anyway, this may be a rerun for everybody, but whatever.
That's fine.
Danny said, he said, do you remember this time in college, I was he went to Campbellsville College, I went to Center College. I was trying to get from somewhere to Campbellsville, and I said, I think Richie's college is kind of on the way. I'm going to see if I can find him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got a map, and he
Yeah.
found out where Danville was, and
Yeah.
he drove in, he parked on campus, closest building. He walked into the closest building. He said to someone in there, he says, do you know Richie Ellis? And they said, yeah, that's his room right there.
Yeah.
And Danny came toward my door. I think he said, I came out of the room. And I
Okay.
said, hey, Danny, I just asked the Lord to send you.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't remember that story at all. And I trust him. But it's almost like if you're not the person who remembers it, it's hard to even believe. Like, are you
Yeah.
sure that's what happened?
Right.
So, that the
Yeah.
Lord would go, oh, Richie, he requested Danny Nicholas out to bring him in from. So, anyway, it was I used that in my devotion at the clergy thing yesterday.
Okay.
And that might have got me thinking about people who had influenced me.
Yeah.
There's something, though, about sharing that with a few people on my list that makes it seem like it seems demanding of them, or I wonder, that they are responsible for in a
what?
bad way. They may think, "Oh, I didn't mean to influence that guy. He's too."
Well, you and I talk once in a while about the people that you'll meet in heaven,
Yeah,
and that you didn't even expect it, but that
Yeah.
somebody will just come up out of the blue and say, "Oh yeah, that kind word that you gave, whatever it is."
and even better than that though is that when it's not about you, you'll still love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
what I
you're-
was going to say, why not have some of that on this side of glory?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
And I'm very for it, but I do struggle with my pride, and also with something else I can't quite identify. But let's say to Michael, he may disagree with me about everything,
Mm-hmm.
just guessing, the church that he was associated with basically said, stop talking about Jesus so much.
Oh,
right? So,
yeah, okay, yeah.
so that's a big divide.
Mm-hmm.
But something, I think it was easier to share with them because I don't know. But there's other people where I feel like to share with them is a little bit, I don't know. I think it's mostly pride, honestly. But I've still dealing with some of that in my life. I put my brother and his best friend Daryl as one person.
Okay.
Because they were my first youth pastor,
Okay.
and I sent it to him. He said, "Oh, thanks. Glad to be a part of it."
Figuratively or literally,
What?
they were.
They
youth-
were, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
they definitely were. Okay.
And I said, well, it was mostly Daryl. So just
Okay.
as a joke, he got that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll get the blessing going around. I feel like I'm in therapy now.
Really. The pause.
No, just just because there's reasons in all these things that I don't quite understand yet,
Okay.
about why things are hard. And
Okay.
if you're listening and therapy's pretty good, can be really useful. And if you don't like your therapist, you can fire them, but it does make most people won't kind of give you the space and also maybe push you into a space where you have to talk about something that you don't want to.
Tell me more about that.
Wow. Yeah. And then a therapist, that's it. They're
Yeah.
not going to say anything. I mean,
Yeah.
in my experience, they just say, yeah. So I realized something yesterday. I had lunch with two chaplains. We had a chaplain thing, and then all of us were there. But then it was over for us, so we could go home. But John said, hey, let's get lunch.
Okay.
And so John and Kaifa and I got lunch, and it was good. It was really nice. And
Okay.
I was talking about something that I really like that I don't get enough of is I really like to talk with my peers.
Okay.
And I don't just mean chaplains,
No,
but
no.
like
Yep.
like how you and I talk
Yep.
although you're way above me in every way. Right. No, but I really like just talking with someone that I mean, I can shepherd you, and you can shepherd me.
Yeah.
But a lot of time we're just talking, and I really like that.
Yeah.
And I don't have as much of that in my life as I used to.
Same
so it's
here,
kind of
man.
nice to think about.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to serve. It's good to be with the sick and the dying and da 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 and da da da. But it's also, for me, I was realizing that I should try to engender that so that there's more of it.
Mm-hmm.
I might even start talking to my wife. Thinking about it.
Shocking.
I might.
I can't believe Sunday when you asked me that question that I didn't think I was thinking about everything except for
What did I ask you? Oh, right. Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the best lead-in to that.
Yeah.
Mark's-
You say that a lot though. I mean,
Right, Mark's talking. Sunday was saying when other people have doubts and questions, they're not really. You don't have to have an answer. Like, they really probably want to tell you more about their doubt or about what they've been thinking, or it may just be a way to cover for discomfort. So it's great to say, I don't understand how we're spinning through space and we're not hitting things. How does that make any sense? And you say, man, tell me more about that. I never really thought about that, or I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
yeah.
Yeah, because people want to be seen and heard, and
Yeah. In that situation, I bet you that's what they really want. They wanted to tell you what they thought.
Yeah.
And they opened it up with a question, but they really wanted just to be able to vent. Not vent, but just to
explore.
Yeah.
It's a lot like asking for advice. Like, it's really very close to that. So I do give advice. I mean not to, but I'm such a sucker sometimes.
It is hard to do. I try to think about that.
Yeah.
What you said about just ask. What do you think about that?
Yeah. What do you think?
Because I am a problem solver, and and a lot of times people aren't looking for that.
Well, if I rebuilt my maggot farm on Sunday.
Yeah. By the way, anybody that's listening, it is amazing.
Wow.
I mean, it is mind blowing.
And I got to the drawers. I did the other part on Saturday. Sunday I just wanted to do something, and I was like, I'm gonna try those drawers. And if you'd have been here, I'd had you make them for me. But I thought, well, how would I build a drawer?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of that same thing. Like, there's a lot of things I cannot do, for sure, or I don't know how to do them. But that's where advice becomes like a wheelchair, right?
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
advice is different too, because you really, in the end, you don't want it, because a drawer is it's a physical thing. But if I said, Mark, how can I get Jenny to listen to me about these 5 things, and you start telling me those, and I'm like, I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah.
Right. But if you say,
well, what do you think? I mean,
or you might say, what do you want her to listen to you about?
You've thought about this, obviously. So tell me where you're on your thought process on these.
Right. Exactly. And not correcting, saying, well, are you listening to her? There's just so many ways we go foul with all these things. I don't know. So.
I did, just sitting here thinking about it, I did a lot of that in work, but I guess I'd never really thought to apply it to my actual life.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of people that ask for advice that really want you to do the thing for them.
Yeah. Well, know how I am. I just say, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Will you help me?
Yeah.
Because if I could do it.
It's refreshing. It really, really is. It gets to the point, right?
I don't know how to do physical things with wood.
And this doesn't make any difference whatsoever, but people do overthink things. A drawer is a box with one side open.
Yeah.
That things are going to fall into.
It needs to be a little bit square though. Because it has to slide in and out, probably.
If it was rhomboid, what would that? What difference?
Well, that's a lot harder, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't slide in and out of anyway.
Maybe not. So anyway.
Well, let's talk about one scripture about dealing with doubts and questions. I do have another anecdote that I just wrote down last week. I'm trying to write down a bunch of my anecdotes, so
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe help me remember more of them. But
Okay.
So when I was in college, I went to Centre College in Kentucky. I was one of the top students in high school. I was the second dumbest guy in college,
Well,
and everyone around me was smarter than I was, and they were all. None of them were. They were none expressing faith in God, mostly expressing atheism, and they were wearing me down pretty good. And they were drinking and getting high and screwing around and all that stuff. And I wasn't interested in that part. I just was beaten down, and I called my pastor from the payphone. That's all we had was a payphone. And I
yeah,
said,
man. I remember those days.
I said, Brother Bill, I said, I'm really struggling. I don't know that I can be a Christian anymore. My doubts are so strong. And he says, Rich, he's from Tennessee. He said, Rich, I know what you mean. I've been there myself. Richie.
Richie?
And I couldn't believe that he'd ever had a doubt in his mind, because you're 18, you don't think about your pastors had doubts.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the rest of the conversation was, and also bless him for answering his phone. I mean, he was on the spot all the time anyway, but he's answering his phone, and boy, had I given him gray hairs. And anyway, the years that I grew up in that church. But he said, I want you to every day for a while, I want you to pray this prayer from Mark chapter 9. Lord, I believe, help me with my unbelief.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was the whole thing. I don't know what all the part was, but that prayer was very transformative for me. Also, that my pastor had doubts. Who knows? They probably put a prayer chain together to pray. And in a way, I was finishing high school. I was the leader of the youth group, or one of the leaders of the youth group. But it's also, what do you call that? If you can imagine me not as mature as I am now, Mark.
I can't. Okay, hang on. Let me try. I can't get there from.
Let's just say that
I cannot get there from here.
I used to be a handful. In addition to, but they probably had a prayer chain going and supporting me and loving me. So, that's one of my main things. If you're having doubts, listener, and you have questions, to ask God to help you with your unbelief. And then one practical way to apply that is to work from faith instead of from doubt. So I don't know what's going on with the world. We're apparently flying through space very fast and spinning.
The universe is moving through space. The galaxy is moving through space. The planet is moving through space.
That stuff makes me feel a little bit nervous about it.
I know the guy that designed it, so we're good.
Also, if we're not hurling through space, it doesn't really affect me that much.
Yeah.
As far as I can control or understand, right?
Yeah.
So even if the Earth is flat.
So I'm the same way.
I don't know how I'm going to get back to Russia if the Earth is flat, but okay. That's
the thing of it is old Earth, new Earth, all that stuff. Okay, I think it's wonderful thought.
Yeah.
What do you call that? A thought
experiment.
A thought experiment, but it has nothing to do with salvation. It doesn't. Even with religion out of it, if the Earth is 6,000 years old, or it's 1 billion years old, how does that affect your? Let's say I'm a mechanic. How does that? How would that affect my job, day-to-day job? It would have zero effect on it. There's plenty of people in third world countries that don't have the luxury to even think about such things.
So, let's work from faith for that. Yep. So, is the world 6,000 years old? I don't think so. I think it's. I don't. Maybe it is. I wouldn't be surprised if it is actually.
Yeah,
but I believe that God made the world, and I believe that God gave mankind a moral choice at the beginning, and we took the wrong one.
Yeah,
I think that's real important. I don't think Adam and Eve can be just a story.
Exactly right. But my thought about whether New Earth, Old Earth is that Adam was created. When Adam was created, was he a men old? He was not a men old. He was created as a man. And so I'm pretty sure that somebody that could create everything that you see outside could create it in such a way that it would appear to be, billions of years old.
Right.
So I mean that's
Yeah. Sure enough.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah, there's
Does
so
that-
many
yeah.
questions, but I just want to come at them from faith, and I also want to. Well, I'm going to focus more on because it's hard for me to. I've been doing this a long time to not come at it from helping other people with their doubts, but when it's my own, like saying, like you'll just see this on Twitter. Jesus never claimed to be God, and you're like, wow. Jesus never claimed to be God. I know he claimed to be God,
Yeah.
but it hits you because of whatever reason or So
when you say doubt, though, that's the kind of you're talking. I mean, do you ever have doubts? Is there a God, or is it just doubts that did this thing happen or did that thing happen or?
I don't know. I have things that feel like arrows to me. I don't know that they make me doubt, but they make me go, like, do I want to deal with this right now, or do I want to just go on in my thing? Because I know God. See, that's the other half, is that I not only I can make some reasonable deductions from science and the Bible and life, but I actually also know him. So the thing that I don't think I could ever do is deny God in that way of like, well, because God has interacted with me. And I know that that's something that a lot of people say, whether they're Christians or Mormons or Buddhist, or So, I believe over here with my thoughts, but I actually have a relationship with them.
Yeah,
and I feel actually weaker. Oddly enough, I'm just gonna say if it's right or wrong, but I feel like I'm weaker on the relational side, even though God has done all these wonderful things in my life. Like, if Danny Nicholas is being honest about that story where I said, Lord, would you send Danny Nicholas to me? And I opened the door and Danny's there and I just go, oh, hi, Dan. I just asked the Lord to send you. Like, this is how my life is. I just ask the Lord and he sends me my best friend.
Right.
But I feel like I should be even stronger on the right side, this side of a relationship, and knowing, like, man, I guess I want to have, I don't know how to, I know what I'm supposed to do, but how do I experience the closeness with God more?
Yeah.
Like, how do I, more than I am now? I don't know. I want that, but I'm not sure that I maybe make all those choices to do that. A closeness.
This is going to sound really weird, but there are times when even my doubt strengthens my belief. Because why would I doubt a thing that I know to be true if there was not an opposing force?
Yeah.
If it was all just naturalist, if we're just, protons and...
Well, and we didn't say this yet, but I think somewhere in all that, if you think about this left side as being all of knowledge and this right side of being relationship with God, there's also like this Jesus as a person. They're, like, to me, the best apologetic for our faith is Christ himself. There is no one like him.
He did exist. He did live.
Yeah, but there's no one like him.
And they
couldn't even make up someone like him, right? There's no one like him. So,
No.
Yeah. That helps me believe the whole, like, someone was talking about yesterday about challenging the resurrection, and I was like, I never even think to challenge. How easy would it be for Jesus to be raised from the dead? I mean, compared to all the things that God has done,
Yes, exactly.
It's an important miracle, but it's not like
the Creator that made all flesh, all of it.
Right, and stop the Red Sea. He just said put a wall on both sides of the Red Sea for a while.
Yeah,
and just said, "Oh, this is what I'm doing." And
I've seen actually really good science on how that could have happened.
Yeah,
so that it's not, and that's the thing. One of the things I really like about some of the stories in the Bible that there can be a science associated with these things on how that how they're achieved.
Right.
Which takes it out. All I'm saying is it takes it out of this voodoo magic thing this mystery magical thing that happened, And okay, there's a ton of that, but of things that explain how it happened, how this thing. I know
Yeah,
I'm confusing myself.
I guess I
but-
just trust the Bible more
Yeah.
than I trust science, and I think that science, if we're on the earth long enough, the culmination of this whole thing may be like some scientists going, "Oh, they were right the
Yeah.
whole time."
Well,
You
that
know, like everything is because I do think eternity is
Yeah.
everything unfolding, everything, every pain that you had. You
Yeah.
had to go through a divorce,
yeah,
the pain of not being able to be with your daughter all the time,
Yeah.
all that stuff. I think in eternity, all those things you're gonna go, not like, oh, that was the purpose of it necessarily, but there's gonna be like, think about an oil painting. It looks, a paint by number. You get
Yeah.
that thing, and it's just got numbers and
yeah. It doesn't.
and
None
then
of it looks
yeah,
right. It
and you
makes
put
no
all the
sense.
red on,
Yeah.
it looks even worse. You
Yeah.
put all the green on, it looks terrible. But if you had an artist with that, by the end you'd have something beautiful. And I think that's part of what our eternity is looking into the beauty of the Lord. Yeah.
That or a puzzle.
Yeah.
You look at a piece, it doesn't make any sense. But
My
then,
example's better.
I like mine because when you put the piece in, you see the beautiful picture
Oh man!
in one shot. It's like,
But there's artists. All right, let me read the scripture. This is from Luke 7. This is a Roman centurion's extraordinary faith. This is from the Phillips translation. When Jesus had finished these talks to the people, he claimed to Capernaum, where it happened, that there was a man very seriously ill, and in fact at the point of death. He was the slave of a centurion who thought very highly of him. When the centurion heard about Jesus, he sent some Jewish elders to him with the request that he would come and save his servant's life. When they came to Jesus, they urged him strongly to grant this request, saying that the centurion deserved to have this done for him. He loves our nation and has built us a synagogue out of his own pocket, they said. So Jesus went with them, but as he approached the house, the centurion sent some of his personal friends with a message. Don't trouble yourself, sir. I'm not important enough for you to come into my house. I didn't think I was fit to come to you in person. Just give the order, please, and my servant will recover. I'm used to working under orders, and I have soldiers under me. I can say to one, go, and he goes, and I say to another, come here, and he comes. Or I can say to my slave, do this job, and he does it. These words amazed Jesus, and he turned to the crowd who were following behind him and said, I never found faith like this anywhere, even in Israel. Then those who had been sent by the centurion returned to the house and found the slave perfectly well.
I love that story.
Yeah. So that's kind of the positive example, because the other one I used Sunday was from Mark 9 about the father who said, I believe, help my unbelief. But here you have a person who's like, you don't have to come over from Hancock. You can just stay there and just say it, and I'll trust you.
And I know it'll happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like our prayers for each other, like at night or whenever I always pray at night. I don't only pray at night, but I always pray at night.
Yeah.
And as I'm praying for you, particularly Mark, since I pray for you every day, is that me kind of doing what the centurion did? Is like, instead I don't have to be with Mark in the room to say the things that I'm blessing you with.
Yeah.
But Lord, I entrust him to you, and these things that we talked about.
I mean, and I pray for you for things that happened in the past, because He's in charge. I mean, He sees it in the future, the past, and everything.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I pray?
I don't know. I'm not sure what I think about all that. I think about it sometimes, but I wouldn't say that I do that overall. But
I do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know you do.
Like that metal bucket thing.
Yeah.
I pray about that.
The one I fell in?
The galvanized bucket thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You prayed that I'd find it?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's weird.
It's weird. I know it's weird. But if you really think about the nature of God, which I love to do.
Let me tell that story real quick
Okay.
so you don't be lost if you're listening. And I just wrote this down last week too. So in about the year 1999, I was in someone's classroom at probably Madeira High School in Cincinnati, and I saw they had a bucket, a galvanized bucket. I had never seen such a thing. It was like just a pail, but maybe they held a gallon.
Okay.
And
small.
they were holding their markers in it.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, boy, I could use that because I was a youth pastor. We did a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just said, Lord, I don't even know where to get a bucket like this. A
Yeah.
hardware store is the answer, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
I said, Lord, if you got a bucket like that, I'd like to have one. And then just a few days later, I was running in a park near my house, and about 75 feet out into the lake that had been drained to repair a dam, there was a shiny bucket.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I better go get it.
Yeah.
And it was exactly the thing.
Yeah.
And basically new condition. Just
Yeah.
had fallen in the lake, I guess. And I just thought, well, I took it and I wrote, seek and you will find.
Yeah.
Knock and the door will be opened. Ask and it will be given to you on it. And I told everyone who came in my office about that bucket.
Yeah.
Of the goodness of God.
Yeah.
And what really is the most interesting is if that's from the Lord, which I believe it was.
I don't see how there could be anything but that.
Well,
I don't.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. I think Danny Nicholas showing up is more crazy than that story I was telling earlier. But anyway, if it's from the Lord, think of how he did that. So probably a year, you know how committees work.
Yeah.
2 years ago, they were talking about a dam and a dam that needed to be repaired.
Yeah.
And then somebody's out on the lake and they had a bad incident because they lost their new bucket.
Yeah.
Right? Probably. Somebody, it fell off, they dropped off, whatever. And then, isn't that interesting?
A car door opened, a bucket blew out in the field.
Yeah.
And then the wind caught it, blew it into the lake.
Yeah. And then I
mean-
wonder, because, like, why isn't just life always like that? And I don't understand that. Or why it seems like it's less like that in some ways.
Yeah.
But
Maybe it's a lot more than what we think. We just don't see it.
But I've been wondering if the Lord is saying sometimes to us, like, okay, move on, Richie, from a bucket and from this.
No, yeah.
Let's come on, press in and So, although I still, there's plenty of synchronistic things in my life.
God loves doing good things for his people.
Yeah, for sure. But
Even
I
if
also
it's just a silver bucket, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a story like that a little bit also. And we went to Russia the first time. I was so scared of flying, and I'm not in general scared of flying. I have occasional travel anxiety that gets pretty high. So sometimes I'm like, I'm just not going. Like,
Okay.
plane ticket, I'm not going.
Okay.
And so I really have to kind of get pushed out the door.
Okay.
I haven't had it for a while, praise the Lord. But so we got on the plane, and I was just praying, trying to pray in the Spirit, meaning not just saying words, but saying, Lord, I'm just being honest. I'm scared. I'm embarrassed to be scared, but that's where I'm at. And I saw with my eyes closed and my mind's eye, I call it, I saw two hands, and they're holding a plus sign in front of me.
Okay.
And the hands came toward me, and they turned, and it wasn't a plus sign; it was an airplane.
Oh, okay.
So that would be the front view of an airplane, I guess. And it was like the Lord was saying,
I got this.
"You're in my hands," and I was like,
Yeah.
I think it was a great kindness to me.
Yeah.
And I love it too because I wouldn't have thought about a plus sign and two hands as being the way the Lord would help me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the Lord is kind, and we should press into that. I do think that we should. Part of our hearing from God and seeing the Lord move is to be moving. So like I'm going to go meet with someone today or maybe tomorrow that I don't know.
Okay.
It seems like it could just be. It could be perfunctory. That's what I think a lot of people would do. Is say, "Well, I said I'd do it. I'll go do it."
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But if I say, "Lord, I'm going in your name and the spreading of your kingdom for a child that you love," and then, Lord, I'm open to whatever you want, or even more so if it was, I'm going to go try to help this person who I don't even know, but like where you feel the compulsion of the Lord to do something. I think we might see. I guess what I'm saying is, God, we might see more movement from the Lord if we were the more we're engaged in things that are very important and very kingdom oriented to Him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'll pray. I can be kind of dense. You're not going to believe this, but I can be kind of dense on some of these things. I mean, I've told you the story about praying before I went to church. God, please send me somebody to help. And literally, I'm not kidding. A man walks up and asks for $1. And I don't have any cash. And I'm trying to, I was right outside the church.
yeah.
I could have said, come on in, let's talk about it. But my mind got in the way and I kept thinking about, things. But where was I going with that?
Getting involved, like being a part of what God's doing.
Yes,
and
seeing it.
sometimes
So I pray, Father, please let me see it. If you have a plan on this, please let me see it.
Yeah.
Give me the wisdom to see it.
Somebody, I'm glad I didn't say it this Sunday because I just should have looked it up again. But someone told me a while ago that you should doubt your doubts. And I forget what their point was with that. Does that phrase make any sense to you?
Doubt your doubts. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's not even.
I did get it, and I lost it, and it just came to my mind again.
Yeah.
Maybe they said question your doubts.
Okay.
Like, let's just go back to the Earth is spinning and flying, hurling through space. We're spinning and hurling through space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, oh, no. Well, does that sound like science and the Bible are in conflict there, doesn't it, Rich? And you're like, wait a second. I don't think the Bible says we're not
Yeah.
going through space. So you're kind of questioning your doubts. Or what does it matter to me if, that goes back to, we talked about a few minutes ago about, to me, I can't get past the idea that there must have been, that Adam and Eve were people and not just a myth. Because otherwise, we're not responsible for sin. We're just products of evolution. It's not our fault that we kill each other and eat and do stuff because either creation was made by God in perfection or in frustration, which is really evolution is frustration, right? Survival of the fittest from the get go.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe someone smarter than I can get past that. I can't get past that as far as
I can't think of any more two people to pity than Adam and Eve that literally stood in the presence of God. Man, could you imagine what that felt like?
Yeah. Well, I think we said this conversation a little bit before because I said also, what about the disciples too?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
to go from on a 3-year camp out with Jesus to him leaving and then, but Jesus
and not
saying,
get it. Him telling him all along that all those guys.
Right, but the part about that they were with him, like you and I are sitting in this music room together. They were hanging out with him.
Yeah.
But then Jesus' promise is that I'm going to send you the Holy Spirit, and it's going to be better than having me.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of goes back to me saying, like on this relationship side, I feel like my experience of Jesus and of the Holy Spirit, of God the Father, should be more.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is more. I know there's more. I'm not sure why there's not more than there is for me right now. I don't want to feel guilty about it or anything. I just want to have the abundance. Jesus said, I came that you might have life to the full.
Yeah.
And I want to have more abundance. So I'm not sure what to do about that, but and not that there isn't abundance.
No,
but they have more.
So I tell stories about when I was building the house that, as in one instance, I had made a bunch of. I was cutting 2x4s, and I cut them wrong length. Once you cut them, you're not going to put them back together.
It's hard.
And when I got around to this other wall, they were to the millimeter, the exact right size. And I think when you see those things, it's God telling you that I love you and I care about you, and not to poo-poo it away and say, oh well, that was just a coincidence.
I get that.
Yeah.
That was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I just want every day. I
Yeah.
just want my life to be full of. I
No,
want to reap
but-
where I didn't sow. I want to.
no.
I want to sow and not reap. And go. Oh, I
so
know. Yeah.
I was putting a water system in, and I needed a bolt of some kind.
Yeah.
And you know what my garage looks like? It looks like a bomb went off in there.
Yeah. But you
And
found
in a
it?
box, I found a thing that the exact thing that I needed.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and
Well, I guess I just want more. I just want
Yeah.
more of that. I want that what he used to call serendipity, which is not the right word, but synchronicity, where my showing up is linked to something that God was clearly doing,
yeah,
and also to be led by the Spirit. There's things I could do, but maybe I should shut my mouth some.
no, I mean, I think it's don't. I try to see God in everything, and that don't attribute happenstance to something that He's trying to
Yeah.
tell you. I love you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and the little things and the big things. You know,
One thing that I've heard from people in our church and other churches, is they long for the thing that I'm describing. Though they haven't really had hardly any
okay,
what they would call personal experience with God. They've not had visions or prophecy, or what they could clearly see in front of them as a miracle. And if you're listening and that's you, well, I think it's a great thing to
Yeah.
talk about and pray about.
Absolutely,
And say,
yeah.
Lord,
yeah,
reveal yourself. And again, to say that from faith and not from doubt.
yeah,
So, hey, I will say this: one of my friends, Rusty, he seems to be, of the people I know, the most anticipates that God's going to do something.
okay.
So, like,
At all times,
just in general, yeah, like
Okay.
he's just walking around.
I'm waiting
so, like,
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I go into, in a week, I go into 20 hospital rooms, right?
Yeah.
And to anticipate in 20 hospital rooms that God's going to do something. Now, He is doing something, right?
Yeah.
For sure, because I'm there. He sent me, da-da-da.
Yeah.
But, like, that God's going to intervene and not to be shocked, but to trust and to
Yeah.
say, oh, praise the Lord.
yes,
And then also to not be discontented by. There's a lot to all that. The idea of like wanting God's gifts, but really we should be wanting Him,
yeah,
and to be comfortable with His
Yeah.
silence and that stuff.
yeah.
A whole lot to pursue there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's enough.
Okay.
We're here for you guys. We love you. You may not believe it, but it's true. Come on over. We'll show you my maggot farm, and then you'll see.
Oh yeah, they'll be.
And we'll give you some kale. I got some
shock
kale
and
ready
awe,
to eat.
I guess, yeah.
Chard and lettuce to share.
I've got like thousands of onion plants to give away.
Yeah, eggs. You got more eggs. What are you doing with all your eggs lately?
I give them to people.
How? Just a church? or-
So it's like this. Like let's say I have eggs.
yeah, I'm just wondering how you get them out to people. Just a church
The
mostly? or not?
the kids
Your
and the
family.
and the family and people at the church bring them in.
Yeah.
I
I told someone yesterday they were worried about their retirement is going to be messed up because they are an immigrant. Their paperwork was wrong when they came to America as a refugee. It's off by 7 years.
Uh-oh.
So they're going to have to work 7 years longer to get Social Security instead of like that. And he wasn't complaining, but he's saying, I do worry. Like, I don't know what I'll do. And I said, well, you can come and live with me.
Yeah.
And he laughed at me. And I said, I'm not kidding.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
so,
We'll feed you.
well, I mean, I think, I ain't afraid.
Yeah.
I ain't afraid.
Yeah.
The Lord provides. Hallelujah.
All right. Love you guys.